This week we're going to be talking about issues of gender in the workplace. So, with a nod to the great Dolly Parton, let's begin. I want to start by looking at some data surrounding employment. Really, primarily what I'm going to be looking at is income data. And just brace yourself, it's all bad. There's just, well, I guess there's maybe one spot that's not. I mean, it's mostly all bad. Just brace yourself. So this is a chart from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and what it's showing you is the percentage of women's earnings as compared to men. Um, and so right up here, right, so right up here, this is the 100%, right, because percent of the average man's dollar for full-time wage and salary workers. This is for full-time employment. So if a man is making, a dollar in, let's see, this data goes back to 79. Yeah, a woman's making about 63 cents for his dollar. Today, the woman makes, in 2018, right about 82%. But that's a total average, and we're going to look at how that number is sort of inflated in some ways. That's 82%. I'm not going to get into it right now to show you this, but I will tell you that disparity does vary by where you live. So you can just look up state. Typically places like, or I guess not always state, but like Washington, D.C., typically is pretty close to parity. Tennessee, not so great. I think like Mississippi is usually worse. Anyway, so yeah, and so it's going to vary by place. But you'll see here, so it's been stable-ish since here, which is right about 2011. So for about 10 years now, you get a sense of how long it will take for this number to ever go up, where the average earnings for a woman full-time is the same as a man's. But again, this is a percentage of the dollar that a woman makes to the man. So this in and of itself is fairly depressing. If we move forward, where they're going to see the way that education doesn't make much of a difference, because this is always men here in the blue and women are here in the orange. You'll see consistently this is the average, and this average is about that 82%. And again, this data is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. But if you look at the individual brackets, less than high school diploma, some college, college degree, and advanced degree, all these end up being somewhere around 75, 77%. Some of it has to do with this. So this number here that comes out to be about 80% is being balanced out basically by the fact that some women over here are earning more than these men and so forth. So overall, it's about 80% by degree earned. So all of you right now working your college degree. And again, just to reiterate, especially for my international students in the class, right, that this is in the United States. But yeah, you're looking at about women making about 75% of what men do just based on degree. And this data is as of 2018, so it's really not very old. So going on, looking at some more depressing data, we see that those disparities, when we look at it, as it says up here, by race and Hispanic or Latino ethnicity, so the total again, here's that same total, again, we're seeing, but, and so women are in the dark blue, and men are here in the light blue, right? So, and this is actual in dollars, right? Earnings in dollars, and it's by week. And it's median, right? The median usual weekly earnings in dollars, and you're seeing, so, right, for white men earning right about $1,000, and white women earning probably about 800. Black or African American, those men are you see how much the black men are making less than the white women, but the black woman less there. This is the sort of one, maybe I guess this is good, right? That in that we do have, those who are Asian making more money, but there's still a gender disparity. Look at that. That's just numbers just shy of 1,250, and this one's below 1,000. And then over here for Hispanic or Latino ethnicity, you're seeing those numbers are. So again, what you're seeing is that we're not merely talking about disparities based on sex, gender, but also those based on race and ethnicity. Going on to some other largely depressing data. This one, and sorry, right here, it's sort of, the title got sunk down and I couldn't fix it. But anyway, women's earnings as a percentage of men's, right? What you're looking at here, and this is by field, and this is as of 2014. By occupation, again, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, as of 2014, when you look at by field. So, for instance, in construction and extraction, it sounds exciting, I don't know, women still not making, over here, this line would be making 100% of what men make. And there are some fields where women on average will make a little bit more than men's, a few percent more. There actually are some fields. It sort of pops up in odd places. It'll be something like architectural engineering or something, or then it will be like airport security screener. It sort of pops up in odd places, more often in lower paying jobs, usually, in more sort of wage stuff than salaried. But you'll see that depending upon the field you're looking at, there's more or less disparity between men and women's income. You'll also notice that many of these up here, not all, but many of these, right, where women are doing better than, the red here is total for women, full-time wage and salary workers. What it's saying is on average, women make about 80% of what men make, right about here. And so here the women are making better than 80% in these other fields. But things like healthcare support, well, I do believe that things like in-home aides, right, installation, maintenance, and repairs, community and social service, food preparation and serving related, these are not often high-paying jobs. So probably one of the highest paying jobs in this list, for instance, would be right down here, right, which would be legal. And we see that women are making not quite, I would say, at a glance, there's 60% of what men are making. And, you know, some of that can be by the fact that legal is one of those, right, the practice of the law, in which there are specializations. And so when you have fewer women, say, participating in corporate law, but more in family law, which does not make nearly as much money, right, that can explain that. Now, then we have to back up. We have this tough question of, well, but are the women choosing to go in those? They might be choosing. It might be that other doors were closed. They were not given those same opportunities. But we start seeing some gendered patterns of men end up being in some higher paying specialties and women aren't. But also there are sometimes patterns that have emerged in occupations or in certain fields where as women have entered those fields, the median income has fallen. And likewise, as men have moved into the field, the median income in that field has gone up. So there seems to be an association, an ongoing association between the work that we associate with being women's and pay. So just earlier before, and it's not a chart I have here, for instance, I was looking at the pay in social work. And so women are making like 0.5% on average less than men are in social work. But social work is a badly paying field. So that's where the dynamics that's going on here is that women are often tracked and encouraged into occupations and specializations, not always, but often into specializations and occupations that are lower paying. And when fields are dominated by women, very often those fields on average pay less, right? So female dominated fields on average pay less, which is something that's going to come out here in a minute as well. Now this chart, I tried to look for more recent data and I couldn't find it, so I apologize. You'll see that this is based on data from 2008, so this data is based on. And it looks at something really important, and that is the average annual earnings, okay, 1 year after college and by occupation. Because one of the arguments has been about why it is women are paid less than men is that women take more time off in their careers than men do because of family, obvious gendered implications, which we'll be discussing a little bit more today. And also that it is said, well, women go into lower paying fields. Well, there's a question here about, again, as I just said, about, well, why is it that women are in lower paying fields? Is it because when women populate that field, we often pay it less? Right? Is that part of it? So what you're seeing here is that fields like nursing, when it's blue like this, if you look up at the key here, right up here it says there's no significant gender difference in earnings. And by the way, women are sort of this burnt orange sort of color, and men are this drab olive color, right? Other healthcare occupations, it doesn't seem to be a real difference. But in PK through 12, women seem to earn about 89% of what men do. It is also common that kindergarten oh, this actually says PK, which is pre-kindergarten. Pre-kindergarten, kindergarten, and the early years of elementary school are lowest paid, especially as compared to the higher pay, which is in high school. And in high school, you have a greater representation of men than you do of women. That's, again, we're talking about the United States here. So what we're seeing is, working in the high schools pays more money. Why is that more men are there? And why is this being paid more? I don't know which one came first, but we have these patterns that are problematic. And again, some fields, social services, average pay is $29,000. Business support administrative assistant, $30,000. Life science professionals, okay, right. Get to sales. Now suddenly, the difference between women and men is about 77%. And this yellow line going down here, this is the percentage of women in the occupation, right? The percentage of women who are in those occupations. So about half the field of sales is women, which I'll say half the field is men, and you're seeing about a 77% difference. Now we get some fields, and this has been a trend going, well, as you see, it's about 10 years old, and what I've seen is generally true. Over here, what we used to call STEM, I guess we still call it STEM, science, meaning natural science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Women are not very well represented, but there's been a real effort to encourage women in those fields. Also, there's not a significant difference in pay there for those women, which is nice. So what we're seeing is there are some differences by occupation. And one of the things I want to emphasize again is this is 1 year after college. So the argument that one of the problems facing women and the lack of pay equity that they experience is that, well, they take more time off to have children than men do. This is 1 year after college, and you're seeing fields where women are making 10% less, 23% less, 13% less, 14% less, and 32% less. Grab back here of other occupations, right? So that disparity of women's pay emerges very quickly. It does vary by field, but where it's going to emerge, it emerges right away. So it is a pretty compelling case for a sex-gender bias in pay and in these fields.